All right. I'm Chris Noring. I've been here before you in the beginning, if you remember. If you don't, then more coffee, right? This is our amazing tech lead, Shmuela Jacobs, the creator of NG Girls, right? So I'm here today to try to give you some context, what we have been building and why. As I was mentioning, Shmuela's done a large part of this work. I've done a lot of testing, PM, the stuff that you need anyway, the boring stuff. So Shmuela is going to show you a demo of this tool actually working, but first off, let's talk about the whys and let's try to define what the problem is. So cloud, right? We are developers. How much do we actually care about the cloud? We care about an application. We care that it's somewhere. Either it's your basement or it's a cloud or, whatever. We are developers. We care about code mostly. So when it comes to the cloud, we wanted that to be as painless as possible. And that means that we just need to, pretty much press a button. That's what we want to do. If it's 7 steps, we're going to be like, If it's 2 steps, it's better. So we're trying to define the problem as it being a generic problem for all cloud vendors. This is not just Azure. This is GCP. This is AWS. We, of course, have zoomed in on Azure, but definitely you can build this tool for whatever cloud. The Angular team has built the architecture in a way so you're able to jack into it. So we thought, why not take all of those steps and just make 2 of them? 2 steps we can live with, right? And of course, let's use the tool that we all know, which is the Angular CLI. So there are 2 approaches here. One is to, of course, create a project from scratch, and we all know that's ng new, hello world, or whatever you want to call your project, and just cd into that, and you're ready for business, right? And the other one, of course, is that you have an existing Angular project, and you just want to deploy it. This is what we ended up with when we created the tool. 2 different commands, one being ng-add. Shmuela's going to talk about in detail exactly what that means. And the other command being ng-run, which means it's going to end up on the cloud. Now, I'm going to hand this over to Shmuela. She's going to able to show you how the amazing graphics and everything else in the tool. So there you go, Shmuela.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we have it here. All right. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. As you can see, the tool is public on GitHub and installed on NPM. One thing I want you to make sure of, if you want to use it, just check the versions to use the latest one that we have there. And this is how you do that. So I have this Angular app, and what I just need to do is run ng-add and the name of our awesome tool, Azure/ng deploy. I can add some flags also. Okay. Yeah. And what this does, well, first it asks me to log into Azure. So very simply, just pasting a code and logging in. That's it. And now it installs, well, first it installs the package to our project using, the Angular CLI controls this this process. This tool is built with schematics, and the build, the deploy command is built with the builders. That's new in schematics in Angular CLI version 8. You need to have your project also updated to version 8. You can now use it with the RC. And as you've seen before, there's a very easy command to update your project. And what has happened now is we've created resources up in Azure to help us deploy that's where the project is going to live, the static deploy. So we can see it created a configuration file, and the tool just gave us its own names based on the project name. And it's arbitrary here, but you can definitely change that. So this is the quick start version. Now the next step is to just run ng run your project name, which is can copy ng deploy demo. So this is the scope of the project. And the deploy command, and it takes the configuration, it takes whatever you have in the dist folder under the project and deploys it to the static hosting in Azure. If the dist folder is empty, then it will also build your project. Yeah, wow.
We have a project in Azure,
yeah.
right?
Just right away. Now, if I want to control the names, or I have already the resources where I want to deploy this application, then I can run the same thing. I can add it with the manual flag -m. Okay.
How long was that? 2 minutes, right? And you're in Azure. Sorry, Shmuela. I was just amazed by this, right?
That's right. So I have the ng Vikings resource. Vikings resource group. And I have a storage account ng Vikings here. And it configured the Azure JSON file accordingly. And let's run the same command again for deploying. And now it will be also a more memorable link that you can deploy, that you can use to see the application. Yeah, here it is. So now it's deployed to ngvikings.z6. This is the location where the application resides, the storage account. Western Europe, in this case. I can see there. Okay. .web, .core, .windows.net, and of course you can use a CDN and configure your own URL for that, your own hosting domain. Yeah, that's more or less it, and it's all available here on NPM and on GitHub, and we're going to put some more resources. Now it's in beta version now. There are some issues. But feel free to try it out and to tell us about your experience and to add some issues when you find them.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. All right.
Now a few more words from me. Shmuela was able to answer a few questions already, but I guess not all of you are on Azure, right? It's okay, you can be on Firebase, I don't mind. We just want to make sure that there are some questions, obviously, that you out there have. Shmuela's mentioned some, custom domain, SSL, of course we can configure that. What if we have more than one subscription? Because that's a thing in Azure. We will get a drop list and we're able to choose which one. That's one of those things. You also talked about the fact that we have a quick start, but if we don't want to use that, there's a longer running scenario and you're able to customize, naming and a lot of other things that you want. But we are in a beta, so we're trying to collect all of your feedback so we understand exactly what scenarios that we need to support. So we need your help doing that. As for resources, I thought I'd give you a few articles, but we also have a lot of these articles listed in the README already. But just as you know, we have a great tutorial on a static website, also one of using a custom domain. And of course, the end link here is the deploy to Azure GitHub, because it has a home, right? You can help us. This is what open source OSS is about, is that we invite you in, and we are very, very happy if you raise issues, PRs, and make this product better. Because at the end of the day, it is for you, right? To make your lives easier. So what's next? What's the timeline here? We are on RC. How many of you are actually on the RC? Hands up. Oh yeah, a few people who probably got themselves hurt using Angular, right? Early adopters, we call those people, and they're heroes because they report in issues, so the rest of you can enjoy a very nice version 8. During the duration of the RC, we will be in a beta phase and probably a few weeks after that, just to make sure that when you use it, it's flawless, it has plenty of tests. It has tests already, I believe. Azure sign-up, that's one of those things. How hard is that? Well, you can always sign up to a free account, and that it is a few steps, but it is free. You can definitely try this out, no commitments. Try install this today, give us your feedback. Please raise a PR, because we want to hear from you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So Vikings, now we are cloud born, right?